Well, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Thank you for joining us here. We are live with Coworking Live with RedWorldwide, and we're so excited that you're here to join us. And my voice is almost back. I'm so excited. I know some of you guys have been so concerned because I would go to speak and it's just the voice wasn't there. So we had to re-air some episodes to give me a chance to rest my voice. But I am excited that you're here with me today because we have just a very short video that we're going to put out here today. This podcast today is not going to be long, but I tell you, it's going to be worth it. Today, we are talking about the art of negotiation, business mastery. How do you master negotiations as a business owner, as an effective executive in your craft, or people who it's a part of what you do every day. Maybe it's your career to be able to negotiate, and so we want to get some good tools. So I want to see if my producer will put up right quick a nice short little video that'll just give us some context, and then we're going to jump in here with some tips and tools, and we'll be out of here. So Javon, can you roll it for us?
To our video on an Welcome to our video on analysis of negotiation styles and strategies. Today, we will explore two primary negotiation strategies, the adversarial and problem-solving approaches. The adversarial approach is competitive, with a win-lose outcome. An example is a startup founder and investor negotiating for favorable terms. The problem-solving approach is collaborative, with a win-win outcome. Parties can create additional value and align interests. BATNA, or Best Alternative to Negotiated Agreement, is the best alternative course of action if negotiations fail. It provides leverage and clarity on when to walk away. Empathy and understanding are crucial for successful negotiations. They foster trust and facilitate the discovery of mutually beneficial solutions. Understanding and effectively employing different negotiation strategies and styles, along with a clear awareness of one's BATNA, are crucial for successful negotiations.
I believe in taking an adversarial approach to negotiations, where each party aims to win as much as possible.
I disagree. I think that a problem-solving approach, where both parties aim to find a mutually beneficial solution, is more effective.
But in an adversarial approach, you have more leverage and can negotiate from a position of strength.
That may be true, but in a problem-solving approach, you create value and build a relationship with the other party, which can lead to more opportunities in the future.
I see your point, but sometimes you need to be assertive and stand your ground in negotiations.
Of course, but being empathetic to the other party's position and understanding their needs can help you reach a better agreement for both sides.
But what if the other party is being unreasonable? How do you negotiate with someone like that?
It's important to understand their underlying interests and motivations. Sometimes, what they're asking for is not what they really want.
Interesting. Can you give me an example?
Sure. Let's say someone is negotiating for a higher salary. Their underlying interest may be job security or recognition for their work. By understanding their interests, you can find creative solutions that meet both your needs.
I never thought of it that way. It makes sense to focus on interests rather than positions.
Exactly. Successful negotiations require a clear strategy, empathy, and understanding of the other party's position.
I agree. Thanks for sharing your perspective.
My pleasure. Happy negotiating!
We need to cut costs, and zero is a cheaper option. We should go with that.
I understand the need to cut costs, but QuickBooks offers more features and benefits that can save us time and effort in the long run.
But zero can get the job done, and we can always do the extra processes by hand.
That may be true, but QuickBooks has an app for clients to interact with us and update their files, mileage, etc. That feature alone can save us a lot of time and hassle.
I see your point, but we still need to consider the cost difference.
Of course, but we also need to consider the value we will get from QuickBooks. It can unify the process of bookkeeping, tax planning, tax prep, and tax advisory, which can save us a lot of time and effort.
I'm not convinced. We need to cut costs, and Xero is the cheaper option.
I understand the need to cut costs, but we also need to consider the long-term benefits of QuickBooks. Maybe we can negotiate a better price or payment plan with the vendor.
That's a good point. Maybe we can try negotiating with the vendor to get a better deal on QuickBooks.
I'm glad we could find a solution that works for both of us. It's important to consider all options and find the best fit for our business.
Agreed. It's important to find the right balance between cost and value.
Exactly. And with QuickBooks, we can get the best of both worlds.
Now, as we see here in our cute little cartoon, we have a chance to have some options for our negotiations. So, Javon, if you throw my slides up there, I just want to kind of show some of these options and how they could work for you. Okay. So let's go to slide 1. Next slide, please. So basically today, we've already started learning how to understand the negotiation style. Literally, we're only talking about 2 different styles, either the adversarial approach or the problem-solving approach. Most things are going to end up falling into one of those 2 categories. And you have to really discover which style suits different business scenarios. Most of the time, I am going for that problem-solving approach because the adversarial approach, while it could work in certain situations, it is not necessarily the best outcome, indicator of what's going to happen. You end up having adversarial interactions, and sometimes you don't get what you're trying to get out of the negotiation. So we want to be looking at, what it is that we're doing when we're approaching these styles, okay? And when we are thinking about the concept of the adversarial approach, if you'll go to my next slide, I appreciate it. I want you to be thinking about the fact that when you're looking at it from this standpoint, both parties are focused on winning the best possible terms for themselves, often at the expense of the other person. And it's not necessarily a situation that you can, clue in on at first, because sometimes the gestures and the mannerisms may not seem very adversarial. But what really is happening is pretty adversarial when you look at it from the, I guess you say, stepping out from the bird's eye view, from 50-foot view. Sometimes you end up seeing where one person is often, asserting their position. And even when they're asserting their position, the way they're doing it from their experiences, from their, what it is that they want, but the problem-solving approach comes at things a little differently. It's collaborative, and it really is a situation where people want to, you win, I win, the customer wins, everybody wins, and it's all about building stronger relationship, and it maximizes our joint gains. Throw my next slide up there for me, Javon, please. So I want to kind of talk about when it doesn't seem like you guys are coming to terms, what you can do. We call that BATNA, the best alternative to negotiated agreement. This concept is essential in any negotiation because it represents the fallback option. What you can do if it's just not working. I'm talking, you're talking, but neither one of us are really coming closer to an agreement. And so when you know your BATNA, it gives you leverage and clarity, and it helps you understand when to walk away from the table. Okay, let's see the next slide. So here's some practical tips for BATNA, best alternatives to negotiated agreement. The first thing is you got to be prepared. When you try to walk into a situation and you're not prepared really to have the negotiation, you're not prepared with some potential win-wins that will, help everyone walk away feeling like, okay, yes, I gave up something, but yes, I achieved something. Then you really don't get an opportunity to see things all the way through. And so come prepared with what your win-win is and what your win-win-win would be, right? Okay. And what you might be able to give in order to get something. All right. And then the second thing is you want to stay flexible. You don't want to be in a position where everything is so difficult, and you are rigid and you don't have anything that you could offer, in exchange to receive something else. And then the thing that you want to do is also be in a position where you're looking at building relationships. The whole goal is to stay in relationship, stay fluid and connected in such a way that it really does make sense for you and everybody else. You want to walk away with this as friend, or walk away from this as friends. You don't want to walk away from this as, adversaries. Okay. And having effective communication is key. I mean, being careful of your mannerisms. Notice that if you saw my little person in the slide show that we did a few minutes ago in the commercial, she had her eyes a certain kind of way. She turned her head. Her gestures were really showing that she was not pleased. We got to come to an agreement, and it needs to be the agreement of what I want. That's what she was showing. And so you want to have that effective communication that really gives off, I'm willing to work this out. Okay. And then in some cases, you got to know when to walk away. If it's just not working, there's a way for you to say, you know what, I can see that this is not something that both of us could do together, or this is not something that could work for us at this time. Let's revisit it in a year, or let's revisit it or not. Okay. Because maybe it's not something you can revisit. So let's just say, you know what, it's okay. I think we should continue to do what we both do separately from each other. And that's okay. And so I really feel like it's important for you to have these particular tips, because when you have these tips, it helps you to actually bring into your ecosystem the ability for you to negotiate and work together, with others in a way that is powerful and can serve you and your company better. Well, this has been Patience Rose. I know it's been a short one today, but I hope this has been something that's been beneficial that you can actually put into play right away. We thank you for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you again next time.